little bit.
I'll just be here.
Broadcast is live. We are live. We got to get all that. Well, we're live now, so I guess
Live and lacist.
Oh my
Do
god!
you like it? Do you like it?
What are we lacing?
Oh jeez. Oh goodness.
Lacism.
Are we getting laser?
Now all I can think of is Team America.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
What?
Smart.
Do you have any idea how difficult this is? Hello.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Copy link.
I'm so Riri.
So
Riri.
There we go. The tweet is out.
Thank you for doing the tweet. I'm waiting on the YouTubes. How does that not pop up on my feed? That's so dumb.
Stotts is here.
Stotty!
He's like the norm of podcasts.
He's the fifth Beatle, man.
Yep. He's the Jerobi of a Tribe Called Quest.
Word, Riri, you get down with Jerobi?
I'm sorry, what? Oh,
Jerobi.
I'm really irritated that you
Yes.
can't. I'm super irritated that you can't reply to them directly without going into Facebook. Especially
How they
now,
get you.
now that I don't have two screens, I can't really get between them as easily as I'd like to.
Oh, shoot, I'm almost ready. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're
Yawns.
dual streaming to the tube and the Facebook. I see.
The tubes and the books.
Yeah, the tube and the books.
We're also on Alta Vista.
Oh. Are we also on LinkedIn so I can get a job?
Okay, I am shared. I am ready to rock. I'm going to hit that fake slate. Everybody all set? I'm going to give a 3 and a 2 and a 1. Hey, Keith, how you doing? Salt Tier Podcast here. This is episode 92.
I'm out of here.
There we are.
Bye.
Hello, Maniacs. This is Salt Tier episode 92. This is the video game podcast where your argument is...
Cheesecake.
Banana cream pudding.
See, now I'm hungry. But yes, your argument is invalid. We are not coming to you from our humble home of Studio 212 in South Lake Union, Seattle. We are coming from our humble abodes and random stuff in the backgrounds of our webcams. Mine, I don't know. I mean, y'all noticed as soon as we started doing these, I've affixed many things to be perfectly in shot. And no lighting fixtures. Because...
As if I. Like, can't you guys tell? Like, this is finally curated back here.
Get out of here. There should be at least one Star Warsian thing back there. That isn't a pop figure.
Galen Erso's up there.
Oh, okay.
And,
you win.
I got the original Star Wars on VHS release up there.
Man, I mean, Spock was my favorite.
Yeah. Professor X.
Maniacs, thank you. This is, now we're in October of the loveliest year to ever bespoke to us. This is 2020. And it's getting a little chillier. It's getting a little cooler, which means we got a different season for Voodoo Ranger IPA. We don't currently have any, no one has Atomic Pumpkin on them, do they?
No. That stuff doesn't last long around here.
Yeah, it doesn't. So Maniacs.
Did you go to where I told you to try?
I did not.
No, I didn't. I don't leave the house much.
Fair.
I'm too busy cleaning.
Yeah. We are brought to you by Voodoo Ranger IPA. They're B Corp certified and employee owned. And Lauren is so lovely. Sage, how lovely is Lauren?
She's pretty great. She sends us stuff and
Lauren is super awesome.
That, for anybody that's just watching the YouTubes on the videos, was
Or just listening in.
was the Emperor Elote, the Prince of Parmesan, and the Sultan of Spaghetti. That is our super producer, Keith the Boogie from the Soundcasting Network. Keith the Boogie!
Golf clap.
Golf clap. If you have any more time, he produces several. Him and his team, and London, who isn't anywhere today, produced several podcasts, including the Glow Up, How to Be a Better Drinker. And they used to have a really cool one, which I think you could still get episodes of, called The Evil Petting Zoo, for all of your comic book needs. And goodness gracious, would you be busy this summer? Right?
Yeah.
Evil Petting
normally.
Zoo? Sort of?
Well, we're kind of on hiatus, and by hiatus, I mean kind of on like hiatus.
Yeah.
So-
hiatus
so-
of hiatus.
Better than Lincoln.
Yeah.
Better
pretty
than
much.
Lincoln. Gun to the back of the head. Heard. Hold on a second.
Out behind the shed.
Oof. God, my hair grows so fast. Anyway, let me introduce everybody in the room. But before I do that, make sure you're liking and subscribing, following and sharing. That's Instagram and Twitter, salt_tierpod. Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, Grindr, Bumble, Christian
Mingle.
Mingle is all just Salt Tier Podcast.
LinkedIn. Our guest had a very good idea. We should have LinkedIn.
I use that line every time, Saverings ... The Christian Mingle is such a good punchline. Everybody
every-
kind of like,
Get some every
they kind of
time.
nod along when I'm saying all the other socials and not really get it. As soon as you say Christian Mingle, it's like a hard left turn. Like, or technically, it's a hard right turn. Am I right?
I mean, not to be political, but possibly.
To be completely political. But above me on the podcast in the beautiful Bear Dynamic DT770 headset, we have.
Oh, that'd be me. Hello, it's the Saverings ... You got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the podcast. No matter where you're finding us, like all the places, like the YouTubes, and on our Steam page. I'm actually sharing it right now to our Steam group, so feel free to join us. Saltier on there. And we list all the games that we're currently playing or messing around with on there. Are we into the what are we playing already? Or are we gonna go around the
do what you're playing also.
I've been playing nothing really. I've had Star Wars Squadron since Friday. I've had my VR set up, and I have my HOTAS.
Oh, fancy.
and I still haven't even played it. And it's like Monday now. I don't know why. I just haven't got to it.
Too busy cleaning house.
Yeah. I've been way too busy keeping this place tidy. So that's about it. Like as far as like my gaming actually goes, I've been kind of a poser this week, guys. I got nothing to report.
Wow.
And I will move it on to the Wower over there. Where are we over here? We got
other way.
Sage Bell.
Yep, it's me, Sage Bell. I'm on Twitter and Twitch and Patreon at Sage Bell. Everywhere else, which is just Facebook and Instagram, is SageBell_model. Actually, I think also my TikTok's up, but I don't technically use my TikTok. I just have a TikTok account. I pretty sure I played Among Us a bunch this week. Jumped into other people's streams and played on their streams. Played Dead by Daylight, of course. I have not played Genshin Impact, but I've watched people play it nonstop. My phone actually keeps telling me I don't have enough room to play it, so I keep deleting things. Did I still have enough room? I was like, I could just play it during work, right? Nope. I did not get my computer this weekend. It's going to be this next weekend, so I'll have a brand new rig.
Nice.
We'll have plenty to talk about, and
we already discussed what it is.
But like once you have it here, like you could be our tech fap section once your computer comes
next week.
Yep.
In addition to a brand new console that will be arriving tomorrow.
Oh.
Are you pulling a Travis Scott? You got a PS5 already?
No.
Is that what's going on here?
Who the heck is Travis Scott?
What? Yeah, exactly. Like, what the heck is a Travis Scott? I don't know. I know he's like famous, and he's married to another famous person, and he has a meal named after him at McDonald's for the first time since like Michael Jordan did it. It's crazy.
It's a different console that's been sold out basically all of quarantine.
Oh.
Got it.
Oh.
You got a Saturn? Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Yes, I got a Dell.
Wow.
The
That's
funny part
popular
about it though
I'm old.
is because I got it off of Target.
Oh.
It auto went to my previous address, which is just down the street,
Oh,
and my
no.
roommate, he owns the place and still lives there.
Cool.
But I was just like, I changed it immediately because I noticed, but it auto saved to my old address. I was like, fuck. So, by the way, if nobody got the hint, it's a Switch.
Hey.
Yeah.
I got it.
I mean,
But I don't
I got
have
it
a
too. I definitely didn't say the wrong console.
I was gonna say a Virtual Boy.
So I won't be able to buy games until, I don't know. Actually,
Goodness.
I have extra money, so I can. But
Do it.
yeah.
Do it.
Derek, did you announce yourself? Is it time to finally move on?
Oh, I can announce myself real quick. I announced the podcast tags, but not me. I am the host with the biggest. No, I don't have that big of a mouth. Biggest mustache right now? Yeah, look at this thing. I am at Loud and Brown. I'm at Loud and Brown on Instagram and Twitter. I am Gross Def with a PH on Steam and PS4. I have other accounts that aren't pertinent to this podcast, so whatever. I am too old to know what a TikTok is.
Or a Travis Scott.
Or a Travis Scott. But I did play so many games this week. I played Overwatch. I played Warzone, which is pretty standard. I played some Street Fighter. Still, like, dead even. I belong in gold. I lost some and I won some. I beat someone fraudulently last night. I was wasted. And they were at least a couple ranks above me. And then I just put my PS4 to sleep. I'm like, I'm going to end on that because that poor soul did not deserve to lose to me at all. Very, very good player. I think I even sent a friend request. Like, it was really good matches. And I just played like hot garbage. And the play style was so disgusting. They probably assumed no one plays like this. And I ended up taking it. So, yay. And here's something that Russ is going to get kicked out of. My Discord group with the goons up north, the Goon Squad, which is AV's little drinking posse. We've been playing Worms Armageddon on Steam all week.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I haven't played that in years.
It's so much fun with, you're in the safety of your own home, whatever, and you're on Discord chat. And, it's the cool thing about the game is it's turn-based, so people can go up, stand up and get a drink in between things. You're not bound to your controller the whole time. So it's this awkwardly very good social game.
Oh yeah, Worms for sure. Yeah.
And then the banana bomb comes out, and then all hell breaks loose.
I have the one on Steam where you get like the holy hand grenade, and I remember that because if you bought it on Steam, in Team Fortress 2, the soldier got the holy hand grenade, and that was pretty cool.
Oh wow.
Yep.
But that's what I played, and I'm gonna let Sage introduce our esteemed guest.
Oh, well. In the square below me is a amazing cosplayer friend, part of the community up in our area. She's got her own stream channel, of course, but you also have, it's not a podcast, you're like a YouTube channel.
I have a YouTube channel of sorts.
I can relate.
The geeky one.
Oh yeah, lifted geek. I'm part of, me and Justin run the outlet. But not
I had it prepped and then it left.
I was like, I do have one too. And then we also have the outlet.
So Lifted Geek and the outlet?
Oh no, it's just our media outlet. Like it's just called Lifted Geek.
So she's got that in addition to her own platform, which is all super awesome. And your community is super cool. I love being in your chats.
Oh, thank you. They're great. They're hilarious. It's just all trolls.
Friendly trolls.
So friendly trolls, of course. All they do is just make fun of me all the time, and I make fun of them. So it's a mutual relationship.
Sometimes those are great. One of the best groups I'm in is just Star Trek shit posting.
Yeah.
And it's all super lighthearted and really funny, but everybody's kind of mean.
Yeah, I love that. Right? So that's so I have a Twitch. I mostly stream these days and play games. And do I want to talk about the games I play too?
Yeah.
Oh, and your handles and where they can find you.
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
you're on Twitch, but no one knows where.
Yeah, well, okay, well,
and even a brief history of how you and Sage met and how you've entered into geekdom.
Yeah, well, Sage and I met at conventions. Basically, we like show up at this. I was just like, I don't know which one. It was just like we
Seattle
go to all of them. Emerald City, Sakura, like PAX. Like we're just like, hey, you're tall, I'm short. Let's take a picture. You know?
Like dramatic difference.
Like and it's
a
just.
Foot.
More.
I
More
wish
than a foot.
it was a foot. When she squats, we're eye level.
Nice.
It's so good. Like, no, it's we had like one of the best pictures of like we took a selfie and then we're like, well, BTS though. It's like her squatting and I'm just still standing.
You were also squatting for some reason.
Well, I was like, you know, like how like girls that take photos, they all like squat. so yeah, like, we were just I guess taking a selfie, and then she was like literally like legs out wide squatting to get down to my level.
So are you Northwest based?
Yeah, cool. Seattle based. Mm-hmm.
6.
A little further north, but you know, same thing.
Further north than
425. But yeah, so we met in the met at conventions, Sage and I, and then like kind of since like 2 years ago, I started streaming on Twitch at WiddleRiri. So like that's WittleRiri. I stream like once a year, or I streamed once a year for what do you call that? Extra Life. So that's yeah. So I did that anyway, you know, as a 24-hour stream. And for charity. And then I decided 2 years ago I was gonna like do it more frequently, more consistently. And so I am now doing that like 3 days a week, and I'm playing games like Dead by Daylight mostly. That's what I started out with, and then started playing like Among Us and
random things. That weird bunny one.
Yeah, that bunny one. There's like some really like silly games that you'll like just like one off, just like play one day or two, and then like you're done with it. What was the one before Among Us everyone started playing? Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's getting a patch for season 2. Fall Guys.
Oh yeah, there was Fall Guys as well. Like I didn't really get into that. And not as much. I played it, but I didn't really like it that much. But yeah, so like Sage said, it's getting a patch. Other than that, like I guess like some horror games. I've been playing Outlast once a month. It's just like finishing the game off. That's like kind of it, really. Like mostly just social games that I could involve the community with and things like that. So,
Nice.
So yeah.
Freaking cool. I know I'm really tuned out of the streaming community, so thankfully Sage Bell and other people in the podcast like can bring in people like we had Classy Beard last week and he is awesome. And when it comes down to it with me, I used to follow the Overwatch League and maybe like 3 or 4 Street Fighter pros. And that's it.
Yeah, I wasn't big on it either, you know, like until I started to stream. And
yeah, and there's like
you
all these
really
cool
make
benefits.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, there's all these benefits to it and being more tied into the community. And one of my friends told me, because I don't really have it in me to play the Mass Effect games, and they were like, you should watch like a a play along. It's like one of the coolest ways to watch a game that if you feel like, I don't know, there's something about like the game dynamics and controls in it that I just didn't. I gave it 4 hours. I feel that's a good amount of time.
Are you talking about the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one is a slog now. Like, it's still a great game, but the controls are just not all that great. But worst kept secret, they are remastering it and they are improving the engine, at least on the first one, to put it more in line with the second two. Because the second two had a all different game engine from the first one, and those control a lot tighter and a little bit more. I don't know. They're just better controlling games overall. So I would say wait, and then play that remaster.
There's also a whole community behind that. You know, Let's Plays and girlfriend reviews for video games. You know, sometimes viewing, like I watched Resident Evil 1 before I played it. Like my buddy played it, so nothing really like threw me off, or you know, I kind of knew where to find a couple things. But sometimes it's entertaining to watch someone, especially if they're an entertaining person.
When did you play Resident Evil 1 for the first time?
Oh, for the first time, maybe like 2 years after it came out.
Okay.
But, you know, like when my buddy was done with it, he gave me his copy.
Okay. I got you.
But, you know, we'd skate and he'd be like, hey, I'm going to go finish Resident Evil tonight. You should come by. It'd be great. And I'm like, sure. Anyway, that said, you said what games you're streaming this week. Any streamers we should be on our radar that's just like prime entertainment, at least watch a highlight reel of, like someone you want to put on blast right now in a good way? Riri, sorry.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
The question is, what streamers do you like or follow or recommend people to check out? Also, aside from
Sage Bell.
Yep. Gotta say it.
If you're into like Monster Hunter, I'd say definitely my friend Justin, who I run Lifted Geek with. He goes by Justin. Wait, no, he goes by LFTD, Lifted Prince.
He's
Prince.
Lifted Prince.
I had to look it up. I was like, wait, what was it again? But yeah, definitely I recommend. He's a great Monster Hunter streamer. There's like so many people that I follow. I'm just trying to think of like specific. I mostly follow Dead by Daylight streamers. Like most of the people in my community are from that. But yeah, like I definitely want to shout him out for sure for that. He just started streaming over the winter time, so he's fairly new. But I'm sorry, it is almost winter. I meant last winter. COVID really screwed me up.
Screwed everybody up.
I know. I thought it was literally like summer right now. I'm like, oh yeah, like just over the winter 6 months ago, literally almost a year ago, he started streaming. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely shout him out for that.
Super tight. And before we get into topics and headlines, because this is a kind of a techie podcast, I'm pretty curious, and I'm sure Saverings ... is curious too. What kind of a rig are you using for your streaming and your gaming? Like, what's in that tower?
Stuff.
Sorry to sneak up on you with that, but to clarify, to make this easier, while you're looking at what you got, I run.
Looking it up.
I know. I run a Dell Optiplex, which is like a 2000.
That's like a 2014 like library computer.
Yeah, like a library computer I got for $150. My homie Opium Dragon gave me his old 970 video card, which is pretty generous because that's a pretty decent card. And I have an extra hard drive for some reason. Someone bought something they didn't need or got gifted at a con or something, so I have an extra 500 gig SSD in there. And I just got like a Cooler Master, a keyboard and mouse that can change colors. Ooh. And it's not mechanical or anything, just like really run of the mill, and I just run it through my TV. Oh, you have a Razer mouse, Sagebell?
Yes.
Ooh.
And keyboard.
Ooh.
Yeah, I use Corsair.
Skylar would. Oh, Corsair headset, and Skylar would be your best friend too. That dude loves Corsair stuff. What do you think,
Yeah.
Russ?
Yeah, the Corsair stuff's pretty it's pretty solid. I usually tend to go cheap with my accessories. Like I buy like the nicest, cheapest mouse. Like I have a Logitech, but this is like a little cheap. This is like the nicest, cheapest Logitech, and it's RGB, so that's why I got it. And then as far as keyboards, I have like a $40 little 88, like a little $40 little 88 key mini keyboard, and like I'm good.
So I've slowly gone up in price because I'm really good at murdering my accessories.
Oh no!
So this is actually like my third mouse since I started streaming.
Oh my god, how do you ruin your mice?
I think
What
because I
happened?
lift my mouse up a lot when I'm like shooting and trying to like readjust my like my view. And so like I'll pick up the mouse because I'm like off the mouse pad or whatever, or I need it closer because I like sometimes I like jerk when I'm scared. And then keyboard, it was on a really good like price deal. It was probably like $40, but it's also a Razer keyboard. So
Yeah.
and it lights up.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, it's got to light up. I mean, it's 2020.
But yeah, I'm always kind of curious because streamers need a little bit of juice in their tower to make sure everything's working nicely, right?
Yeah, I wish okay, well, AMD Ryzen, okay.
Hey.
A Ryzen what?
7
Better.
3800X, 8-core processor,
Nice.
4250 megahertz, 8-core. Okay, yeah, okay, there. I don't even remember what the frick. Yeah, so that is that. I don't know what my graphics card is. I don't remember. I think it's also it's NVIDIA. No, what? I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm a bad gamer. I don't remember my shit.
There's an easy thing that usually pops it all out in one roll. Was it DX Diag?
Diag? Oh, really? Wait.
Was it backslash DX IAG? Yeah, backslash DX DIAG, and it gives you a text file of everything.
DIAG?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's all one word.
Let me see. Wait, it takes me to. Why is it taking me to
Notepad?
And the command prompt?
Yeah. So it, like I just type it in my search bar and it pops up a little notepad. I learned this because it's when some of our user research studies require you to have certain minimum requirements for gaming rigs.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the instructions because I always just go Specky.
Oh,
I just have Specky installed.
Okay. It doesn't give me my
GPU. You're right. Wait, no, it's in there.
Okay, go to display.
Oh,
display devices.
GTX 980. There we go.
Hey,
I thought I made it to 1000, but I was like, oh, it's just 980. Okay.
980 is a good card, though.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, NVIDIA. I just didn't remember like the number. But yeah, I did have to get up. We did have to upgrade it at the beginning of the year for streaming. It was. I don't know, like CPU was like shooting through the roof and all that shit. So it was, I'm so glad it's running so much better now.
Yeah. For like reference, I will now be getting a Ryzen 7 and an a something else, but right now I'm on an Intel processor, i5.
Nice.
Tight.
Really small, like a really crappy i5. So like there's different tiers and it's like the 2010 tier.
Oh,
so I'm upgrading my motherboard, my CPU, and my power supply. My GPU is actually okay. It's solid.
Tight. Before Maniacs, we go on to the headlines. Let's raise our glasses here and get a little freeze frame for the YouTube video. And
hang on.
And 2 and 1.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on.
Do it one more time.
Rosie, you ready?
3,
there we
2,
go.
1. Thank you.
There you go.
Do you want to go? Oh,
and
there.
actually,
that was the word.
And actually, I'm going to let you down tonight, Loud and Brown. Guess what I'm drinking tonight?
Come here.
Are you drinking? Oh, no. Are you drinking something with? Are you drinking Kool-Aid?
That's a good guess. I was drinking Kool-Aid earlier, but not right now.
Wow.
Are you drinking something with high fructose corn syrup or an energy drink?
No, neither one.
Oh, okay.
Come here.
Water?
I am drinking water on tonight's
I was gonna
podcast.
say
Water's fine.
water.
Water's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
but like,
what's
when's the last time you saw me not drink alcohol on this podcast?
You've
I
done
don't
it
know.
a couple
You're about to
times.
see it for a bit. I'm about to hit Sober October starting tomorrow morning.
Oh,
You're a
Sober
couple days
October?
late.
I always start late.
I know.
Seiji, I always
It's already
do.
Hold on.
5 days into October.
October is one of the worst months to do it too, because isn't it Halloween? Like,
Yeah, but that's the big send off.
Oh, okay. So like,
you
that's
do
when you
like
go back.
it's yeah. The same thing with Thanksgiving. I usually do no drink November,
Yeah.
and it's not
What?
all of November. You know, you do 3 weeks and a half, and then on Thanksgiving you just black out, which
Yo.
is what I did.
I'm thoroughly convinced like No Nut November is just a thing to like spike like prostate cancer rates, because you're supposed to do that, or else you're supposed to do that. And so like for like a whole month they tell you not to do it. Like that's
I'm
not,
saying, but no
that's just not
drink.
healthy.
I'm saying no drink November.
I want to see like the crime rate during the month of November. Like right toward the end, it probably like spikes. It's probably like all kind of stuff going on by the end of November. I don't know why I brought that up. I just
All
think
right.
it's funny.
That said, maniacs. As far as little topics I have, this is not a headline, but this is a small talking point. There is something going on in this Libra moon that is just wreaking havoc on my friend's tech.
The super Mars Libra moon these days.
It might be, because London had a LaCroix drop on her laptop, and my buddy is trying to sell his old MacBook, and then it's an older one. It's like a 2011, and he wiped it, and he can't find an OS.
Oh yeah,
because it doesn't run Yosemite.
Yeah, it moved on.
So he's like in it right now, and he's just trying to get some money for this stupid thing, right? And that's not the only thing. There was another story, and I should have wrote it down. But so many people are having problems with their tech, which is so weird because I'm having the best month for my tech. You know, I installed my hard drive into my laptop, and everything's working absolutely great. And ever since then, everything's running totally fine. But, you know, I have my Mac with my Mac, and then I have my PC with my PS4. So just all 4 devices are running just fine.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Aside from Call of Duty basically making me delete the entire game and re-downloading it because it kept telling me I didn't have enough space. And then I deleted Apex. And I had... This is for an update. I had about 75 gigs free. And they were like, not enough space. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely enough for a 20 gig update. So I deleted the whole thing and downloaded it, and it was fine. So that's all I have for that. But has anybody had any story? Everybody okay with their stuff? I know Sage has stuff on the way, but...
I mean, so far so good. I mean, knock on wood. I haven't really had any problems either, but this is from when I was working for a large internet company about 2 or 3 years ago.
The one that makes faces. I mean, makes books out of faces.
Yeah, like they may or may not put faces in books.
Slap.
So, but when I was working there, I was just noticing, and it wasn't just them in particular. It was partners that they worked with. It was just the whole tech field in general. You could kind of see where they were lacking, or they were more pushing hardware than they were pushing software. And just in my day to day, and then it started to trickle over. I started noticing it in my personal life with my own technology. I was like, technology is it's about to get really janky for a minute. Like it's about to get real janky. And I think maybe like starting like last year is when like there was I don't know, just like people noticing things with like their Alexa devices. That's when you started seeing those videos popping up of the kids talking to Alexa, and it's like spouting off like erotica like out of nowhere. and just like look at all the stuff that's happened in the last few, like, and look at what's been happening, what we've been talking about here on the show recently, graphics cards and consoles selling out like normally, where they may or may, like they would have sold out anyway, but there's other weird circumstances around it. So just keep an eye out for that. You got like moving forward. Like I think tech's just kind of just tanking right now. And it's funny you would bring that up too, because
Southeast Asian production is pretty rough. For example, for my 78th birthday, I wanted to buy myself some sneakers, and you know me, the worst part of all the hipster stuff, right? And none of the cool stuff. Like I wanted to get a custom pair of either New Balance 576s or Adidas. And I wanted to put heel plates on it. If it was Adidas, it was going to have like some Seattle Sounders stuff on it. If it was the Newbies, I was going to have some old man like joke on it or some Filipino like joke on the back, like Pinoy Pogi, like right on the heels, which would be hilarious. But all of the custom stuff is shut down because they don't want so many people like in factories. So they have as little custom stuff as possible, and everything is super automated, which has to do a lot with hardware for computers. Like this PS5 rollout is going to be so strange. It's going to be so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Xbox, we got some more time on that one, right?
It's all going to be in short supply. It's going to be very strange, all of it. Like whatever the new Nintendo is, the new Switch, the whatever the next couple graphics cards are. It'll be interesting to see. We'll see again in a month when AMD rolls out their new CPUs and their new GPUs. If it's a shit show for them too, that's pretty much a wrap. Like it's just going to be a shit show for a while. So yeah.
Well, freaking hell. All right. And then
and we won't even talk about Apple. They're having all sorts of stuff. They're switching over to ARM processors, like all kind of weird stuff. Like that first couple waves of that's going to be problematic. It's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I know. I'm still pretty bummed out that I can't change out my RAM. I'm just going to be on this until this laptop dies. Damn thing is soldered to the logic board.
That's how they get you. So you can come and talk to the geniuses.
Yeah, but you know what? The RAM isn't the thing that was the biggest problem. Like it was the 250 gigs of hard drive space because I got my fancy new phone and I take way more videos. So that's my fault.
Where's Keith the Boogie at? He could tell you about Windows taking up like half your hard drive. I was helping him. That's probably what the most I did on a computer this week. I was helping Keith the Boogie set up the Salt Streamer so he could play some games. And there it is.
Windows is a sluggish, evil piece of bloatware.
I mean, you haven't used that computer in forever, so it doesn't want to work.
Said too. Yeah, it's going to be like a mountain of updates before you can do anything with it because it's just been sitting there for like a year.
So right off the bat, I'm going to say that obviously PC is cheaper and has more options and is pretty universally better, right? Like I'm not arguing that, even though I'm that console gamer with Mac products. The thing that you could say about Mac, though, especially from a design standpoint, the UI.
Oh Lord, here we go with the design stuff.
I'm a designer.
Yay!
So because I'm a designer, there's just things that are consistent across all of their brands. Whereas Windows is just like this underlier, right? They're like all these, and Android and Samsung.
Are we talking about technology?
Yeah.
Okay.
But oddly enough, there was an interview with Snowden that was talking about security measures with phones, where, Apple has to take care of 2 phones every generation, where Droid is like, Jesus, how many people are using this thing?
But let me ask you this. You guys know the fappening? Remember all those celebrity nude leaks?
Yeah.
That happened like 3 or 4 times? That all came from the iCloud. That wasn't Android. That wasn't Windows. That was from iCloud, the super secure thing. So it's all the same. It's just
it is all the same. But like I said, the consistency across it is really. So when I was in design school, the one thing I was gonna turn to is and I say this all the time, when I picked up a Windows phone, I was like, "This is gorgeous," and I was looking at it, I'm like,
seriously, hold on. Jury, like disregard all that. The Windows phone is not technology, okay? Like don't. How dare you bring up the Windows phone and all this?
It was really good UX. It was incredible. It was super intuitive. And the thing that was good about it is the stuff that a lot of droids don't do is the experience you have on your phone is mimicked on the, at the time, current OS.
Which was Windows tiles. 8, which everybody fucking hated. So we don't talk about the Windows phone.
But anyway.
You're making me mad, Derek.
Like I said, I'm obviously wrong. I'm using this damn thing. But when your day-to-day is pinging back between like 4 different systems and buttons are in different places, that's not like helpful.
No.
Where if everything was like streamlined, that's why the Google suite makes so much sense to me, and I cannot believe Google Plus didn't take over. the fact that Facebook is king is boggling because Facebook just does Facebook. Well, they have Instagram. But when Google Plus came out, I'm like, oh my God, that's YouTube, that's Gmail, that's my oh my God, why can't I think about it? Where you store files.
Google's main problem. Oh, Drive. Yeah.
Drive and Google Plus. And I was like, it was so nice going back between those 4 experiences because Google thought of that and they all acted together.
All those things are all tools. Google's good at making tools.
They're very good at making tools.
But they have no personality. Like they can make things look cute and they can make it look and sound charming, but it doesn't have. And Google Plus,
Facebook has a lot of personality
compared to anything Google makes. Yes.
Sure, I can hear you there, but that's not why I'm on Facebook.
It's got its own charm. It's got its own community to it. Like Google Plus had like no community.
Dead Silicon Valley
people.
Charm.
Yeah, but look at Google Plus. I mean, nobody asked for that, you know. So it's like it.
I was on board. Am I the only one here? Riri, Sage Bell?
I was not into the Google Plus.
Nobody asked for it.
I had one.
I had it, and then I was like everyone's using
like
Facebook,
why do I want
huge competitor?
Yeah, why do I want a social media page for my docs? Like, what? You know, I don't know. Nobody asked for that.
It's a weird feed. I don't know.
Perfect example. Look at Stadia. If there's any company that can pull off a cloud streaming service, it would be somebody like Google, you would think, right? But because they have no personality, they just throw some stuff out there. It looks cool, like the UI and how it all looks. It looks fine, but it's not. Nobody asked for that. Like they always just throw stuff out there people don't want.
I don't think this stuff. So as
a matter of fact, check our Facebook page because the Killed by Google topic is going to come up later on in the podcast as well, where we're going to talk about Google and their products that nobody asked for.
Sure. I guess what I was thinking of in my head, well, not in my head out loud, was this felt like when Facebook came out, because I was very much on MySpace the whole time I lived in LA, and it like ran music and it was it connected people and it's kind of buggy, but that's what everybody was on. And when Facebook came out, everybody was just like, it's just a slightly tidier MySpace. I don't have all these friends on Facebook. And then when it took over, it was super interesting. I'm like, someone's game plan was just to make a better version of X, and it totally worked. And then my roommate at the time was like, MySpace was just a better Friendster. And I was like, oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah, it was still a little janky.
So I thought that Google Play was going to do that because at the time, Google Plus, had a couple of features that MySpace didn't. But then not MySpace, Facebook. But then Facebook adopted it and made Google Plus completely irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. The same way that Amazon is about to make Stadia irrelevant with that whole Luna streaming service. Nobody's going to use that either. But
Luna!
But it just kind of proves the point, like, oh, anybody can do this, or not anybody, but any of those big companies can do this, and it's just out there. You got to have some personality to it. A good example would be Xbox. They already have their like mind share in place. You already know what to expect from it. They're known for video games, so of course people would want that. They'd want a subscription or a streaming service from them. So it makes more sense for them. But like for Google to jump in, for Amazon to jump in, yes, they have Twitch, and that'll be cool to integrate those two things. But nobody really asked for that either. I think Amazon just made that thing just to step on Stadia and just make it go away.
That sounds like an absolute Jeffy Beezy move.
Yep. So
people do that shit all the time. They're just like, hey, we're not going to make a whole lot of money off of this, but it will punch someone in the nuts and make us more money in the long run.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on to these highlights. I'm looking at the Salt Tier podcast Facebook page, and we had a couple of things that were on here. So Saverings ... Take it away. What's your first topic?
First of all, I can't believe we talked about Google Plus for like 10 minutes. Thanks a lot.
I know. I'm sorry. There was a little bit of me that was like scrolling our private chat going, Saverings didn't put anything in here. Are we going anywhere with this?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, no, I forgot to shoot up the flare that I put some stuff on the Facebook page. Just real quick, this is just a newsy bit. You guys can pipe in if you want. They announced the VR beta for Flight Simulator 2020, which is what I've been waiting for. So I can fly around and like buzz underneath like the the London Bridge in VR and look around and stuff. So that should be interesting. Just throwing it out there for anybody out there who might play that game or be playing that game or plan on playing that game in the future. And if you have VR, all the better. You can register. The link is on our Facebook page. We're not sponsored by them or anything, but if you're interested, go ahead and take a look. And if you get in, like, let us know. Leave something in the comments. And I'll jump right to the thing that's timely for this topic and what we were just speaking about. Daydream. You guys remember Daydream?
I don't.
No, of course you don't. It was kind of a big deal when it came out, especially amongst all like the deep dive nerds. Like, and I can say that with confidence because I'm a deep dive nerd on some stuff. But this was Google's unified VR platform. This was like their mixed reality for Windows. This was like their Oculus platform for Facebook and so on and so forth. Their Steam VR for everything Steam does. So this was going to be universal through straight up like regular Rift and full size VR all the way down to the VR that the cardboard, the Google Cardboard. And so this was just like a unified AR that's augmented reality like Pokemon Go, or a VR, which is what you think of when you think of VR, Oculus or something like that. It was a mix. It was a combined platform, and this was going to be across all Android devices and possibly other devices. But Amazon killed it. It's done, and they're gonna pull the plug on it. Which leads me up to our next link here. And we just linked this in the thing the other day talking about Stadia. I think it was last week or the week before podcast. And that's this website called killedbygoogle.com. And it's basically all the apps that Google's killed over the years. And there's a spot in there. I thought the very next thing in there would be Stadia or Google Hangouts, because Google Hangouts is up on the chopping block. That'll end in December, I think.
No, they got rid of they just got rid of Google Play, and it takes you to YouTube Music.
Yes, YouTube Music. Google Play is also on this list because it's done now. So
I like exclusively listened to Google Play because it gave me 0 ads, and you just get like so many skips, and then you're just stuck with whatever you have.
YouTube,
I loved it.
I didn't know that.
YouTube.
Great.
That's a perfect example of Google just not having the personality. Like, they bought YouTube, and YouTube blew up because of its personality. Like, people putting all kind of random stuff on there, and they were starting to bury TV a little bit, where TV was starting to imitate like more things you see online. Well, we have YouTube TV. They moved Google Play over to YouTube Music. They're trying to make it more of a all-inclusive play. Like, why do that, Google? Like, because you have you couldn't think of anything better to do with YouTube but try to make it into TV, because they have no imagination over there. But basically, I thought Stadia was going to be next, but it looks like Daydream will be. So that was pretty timely, talking earlier about good old Google Plus. Google Plus is also on that list. You bet your bottom dollar it is. So wanted to bring that up. And this is big. This is something I wanted to talk to you about, Loud and Brown, when I saw this. All of our other PlayStation aficionados out there. Sony has announced that they're going to. Okay, we're all familiar with PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
When you play a game over here, circle is yes, or X is yes, and circle is no in most games, right? Like if you want to go forward,
circle is back.
Yeah. Yes.
Bottom is yes, and right is no.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah.
But when you play those games that are like a JRPG, or you play an imported game or something like that, those buttons are switched around, right? Because over in Japan, it's the functionality switch. So like circle is yes and X is no, or however like that. Like it's switched around. Everywhere else is the way that we're used to it. In Japan, those two buttons are switched around as far as like yes and no.
That's so strange.
Oh, but it won't be anymore, because today Sony announced that even over in Japan, they're gonna have it be universal.
That's good.
It is good.
It's better.
It's gonna piss off a lot of people in Japan though, because that's 25 years of muscle memory.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Isn't PlayStation and Xbox opposite as well from each other, or are they the same? Not
They
what
were.
they look like, but what the buttons, like the inputs are. Because they look different.
The Switch is different, I thought.
The Switch is
Like,
different because Nintendo was always the
'cause-
first ones that put like B and then A instead of A and B.
Mhm.
So they kind
Yeah.
of put their stuff in the other order too. But Sony's gonna do it, and it's making a lot of the Japanese audience,
Yeah,
pretty
I wonder
upset.
why they changed it everywhere else. I mean,
Their reasons were just to make it more universal and to make it easier for developers, so they can just skip that part.
no, I
all the
mean like
buttons are the same.
previously, like why they did change it later. Now they want to make it universal.
Oh, because in Japan the
Oh.
circle is yes and the X, which they call a cross, is always universally no.
Oh, it's a shade.
In Japan, yeah, that's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna
Arimasen,
say it's because
gomenasai.
they got tired of being on the mile and they wanted to be on the kilometer with everyone else.
Truth.
Oh gosh.
So Derek, you as a PlayStation player, Street Fighter and all that stuff, what are your feelings on these default buttons flopping around?
Especially with fighters, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Everybody has
Yeah.
their button layout, especially for like old guys like me.
Mm-hmm.
We play on stick, and good fighters have built into the system a button check.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
doesn't even affect me.
Well, but all this is true, but what about the first 10 times you go to fire up Street Fighter and you end up backing out to like the PlayStation menu instead of like hitting start or whatever you're going to do? Instead of
Oh,
No,
picking
that's
you
me
mean
Ryu.
every time I
You
use
mean
the
if I was
PlayStation.
Japanese?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But like, I mean, for you it would make a difference, but like, let's say you lived over there, like,
Yeah, I
It'd be
mean
a
that
thing
would
for a
be
while.
annoying, but that's not any different than the first 10 minutes I played Kingdom Hearts 3,
mhm.
where jump isn't X, jump is circle, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, that was a little wonky.
I was like-
I
and I
feel
was
that.
like, what the hell do they do here? They just tilted everything
Yeah.
45 degrees. I'm like, okay.
rotated, yeah.
But then, like any other UX, and once again, UX UI design,
Mhm.
your body adapts to it, and every game system is different. Like, if someone showed you the last 30 minutes of a playthrough of Final Fantasy 13, it would look incomprehensible. There are so many subsystems going on, and characters and magics. It's crazy. That's why UX is so interesting with video games, is they gradually get you there. You start off, you have fire 1, attack, and maybe block. And then they introduce it to you eventually. So the beginning of most games, you're not really all there. Oh, save rings ... Here's a perfect example of exactly how long this is going to take. When everybody was used to Street Fighter, still thinking Kingdom Hearts. Everyone's thinking of Street Fighter, Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, and Mortal Kombat came out, and they're like, why do I keep getting hit? It's like, oh, there's a block button. It's like, what do you mean a block button? It's like they put a separate button to block. And it was annoying at first, but a week later, you're hanging out with your friends at the arcade playing Mortal Kombat, no problem. That's just the new system for that game. I think people will adapt faster than you think. It'll be a little tougher for like speedrunners, like people that do like Ikuruga on like 2 controllers. Like that is the community that's going to get pissed off the most.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Like
Also,
the really niche. Yeah.
But also the thing you have to consider is how much of a nationalistic nation Japan is. There's not much more of a Japanese company than Sony, and I can see the consumer over there being a little miffed that their version of their company that is representing them and has always catered to them is now changing over the whole system to kind of like go with the whole world. It's kind of like how people complain about like remakes of movies now, like, oh, why they make an A-Team? Like, why they make this? Why they remake that? That's so dumb.
Another Hulk.
Yes. Like somebody like pointed it out. It's like those movies aren't for us. Those movies are for China and for Russia, because in the 80s when we were watching that stuff, they didn't have that over there. So they're making those movies for over there. And over here as American viewers, we're like, why don't they make something original? Why are we getting all these remakes type thing? So it's kind of in the same boat. Star Wars would be a good example.
The fantastic cinema art piece that is Episode 9.
It's because of that. It's like now that I hear when people are saying, oh, we're trying to attract a new audience, you're like, like rip, like unless they somehow pull it off very well, you're kind of like, are they going to alienate a lot of their core audience that was already there? So I could kind of see like where they're coming from, like as far as like the fans and as far as like the society over there, because everything's very nationalistic, everything's very like for the people. So I can kind of see where people are getting miffed with that. It's the same thing with people getting miffed with like remakes of movies or franchises that they liked but aren't quite the same as what they used to be, stuff like that. So I think it's kind of some of that noise is in that same vein too. So you're right, people probably will get used to it. They'll probably add a feature in the firmware that lets you switch it back and forth if you want to. But I can kind of see where people are getting miffed. And yeah, there's going to be noise whenever there's some change. So
and Riri, let me know if you agree with this. Everybody just switches to PC Master Race, so no one cares about controllers.
yeah, because you can just change it there anyway. The only thing is these new controllers aren't going to work on the PC for a while because they've got all those proprietary features that aren't going to translate to anything else.
Ew.
So controllers, PC gaming. Spelunky 2 came out.
Oof.
Yeah. Have you been playing that?
I have. I just remembered. I completely forgot about it. It is hard as hell to readjust your brain to playing on a keyboard for that game because that is definitely a controller-centric style game.
Definitely.
So it's like trying to figure out how to just like map the keys that make sense in your brain for your character to like whip the snake.
Well, you couldn't play it on with the controller?
I don't have a controller.
Oh, okay.
Like I do. Yes. I have a PlayStation controller, but it's not like hardwired, so wiring it has a loose connection because that plug-in isn't like hardwired in and it doesn't do like the wireless, so you can't just plug it into the computer like your headset that's wireless.
Yeah.
So it is a game that's best on controller.
Does your motherboard have Bluetooth on it?
No.
You can get a Bluetooth adapter.
Yeah, because it'll work with Bluetooth.
We'll find out if I get a Bluetooth on my new motherboard on Saturday.
And then we will.
Yeah, because if that has
TBD,
then you're good. And Steam has native PlayStation controller support, so it'll just recognize the buttons and everything, and you just use it. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
No, it isn't. What about the Senran Kagura?
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we?
Well, basically, this was also regarding
I'm moving to drink number 2.
Nice. This is also kind of regarding the PlayStation as well. It's not so much the game itself; it's just a trend not just me, other people have been noticing it as well. For instance, we did talk about this last week, how the Xbox pre-orders sold out in Japan for like the first time ever. They sold.
We
more
did talk about that with. We talked about that with. Was that
Darkane?
with Classy Beard? Oh, Darkane.
Yeah, it might have been with him.
Look how fancy we are. I can't even remember what guests we have. We have so many guests.
I know,
Thank
right?
you, Sagewell.
Yeah. Thank you, Riri. But basically, there's this game. It's always traditionally been a PlayStation game. It's a Japanese RPG. It's one of the sexy ones. You know, it gets a little spicy. I've never played it. I didn't even hear about it until this. But there's been kind of a push for a lot of the traditional PlayStation developers. They haven't been publishing their games or their newer games that are being announced. This one's a good example because it does have a pretty big cult following. But this was announced and it came out and they said it's coming out for the Switch, for the PC, and for the Xbox. And ever since the PS3, this game's been coming out and it's pretty much been a PlayStation exclusive. So people were like, that's weird. This isn't coming out for the PlayStation. I mean, we may have touched on it on this podcast maybe about a year ago, I'm thinking. That's when this news was relevant, this other part. But PlayStation's been cracking down. They've been censoring things. There's like lens flares and stuff where things are. And they're like covering things up with like strategically placed smoke, stuff like that. So a lot of people have been like moving on to like other platforms for these games and stuff like that.
So for the maniacs that aren't catching on to what Saverings ... is talking about, think about the difference between the Love Hina manga and the Love Hina anime. It's just bathhouse steam covers all the lady parts and no one gets offended.
Yeah. Or if you ever read like a Marvel
Naruto
comic from like the 90s, there'd be like She-Hulk coming out of the rubble with all their clothes ripped, and there's like strategically placed smoke, and like there's like a plank sticking up like right here and everything. Yeah.
Oh, actually,
in the anime does that, but the manga doesn't.
Yeah. Other good example would be Gen 13, the comic, where everything is ripped except a little piece of t-shirt.
What was her name? Fairchild, wasn't that her name?
Fairchild. Yeah. I was a Free Fall fan, by the way. That was
obscure 90s comics. Yeah.
Not that obscure. That was J. Scott Campbell, right?
Yeah. But to the kids these days, we might as well be talking about like, I don't know. But I just thought it would be
talking about Pogs.
Yeah. So people were kind of pointing. I know, right? So people were kind of pointing out, like, do you think games like this leaving PlayStation and coming to things like Xbox had anything to do with the Xbox pre-orders in Japan, stuff like that.
I don't know. That might just be big moves in the back.
Because this isn't the only game. There's a couple other games that have been traditionally PlayStation games that aren't coming out for that, at least at launch. This game is going to eventually release for the PS5, but there's like a scenario that they have to take out of it, and they have to like kind of rewrite parts of the story, so it's not blatantly obvious that this thing is missing. So it's going to come out down the road.
Riri, your thoughts?
I don't
don't have a
know, because
tinfoil hat?
I don't know. I'm still processing that. I just don't understand. Like, to
So-
me, I think that it makes sense what Savoring said, but I just don't know. Like, I haven't like read up enough about it, but
So the thing that makes sense to me the most would be, and Saverings, we talked about this a while ago, which is the way I thought Microsoft should win this console war, is if Japanese developers are headed toward the Xbox, if they continue to be like, hey, you bought the Xbox version, here's the version on PC too. PC gaming is way more broad than it was 10 years ago. And if that's the case, it makes more sense. It's like them putting their foot in the PC culture. Be like, hey, we're sticking with Microsoft because, you know, when consoles die off, we're going to be in their good graces. And we're going to be able to live through Steam and, you know, I guess that's the main thing. But through PC gaming. I think that's a brilliant move. Like, if I were to make a game right now, there's no way I would to make it PlayStation exclusive. You know, they're not really doing the exclusives game as good as they did 10 years ago. Nintendo's got that figured out. They're infallible. They got their game plan. They have their audience. They have their first party games. Always matter.
I mean, and plus, like, look at Nintendo. They basically have like the Mickey Mouse of video games on their side, so they could just keep pumping those out. So yeah.
So to compare that, and this was a discussion by.
They also have Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, but was it ABI Tutorials? Oh God, I'll try to name drop the YouTube creator, but it was how Mickey is still relevant and why no one even, like, some kids can't even recognize Bugs Bunny.
Dude, I was gonna say Bugs Bunny too. He's still relevant, but you don't really see him.
Like, he's nowhere near what Mickey is.
Listen, the Muppets are back. They got their own TV show.
Oh, that's because they were acquired by Disney. That's through acquisition. Yeah. But we're saying Bugs, and it's
Bugs too. Bugs is owned by AT&T now.
Yeah, but
what?
Oh, is he going to be in TV or phone ads now?
He should.
Yeah.
He freaking should.
Recognize
but
Bugs?
There's like a couple things that don't make sense. Like, there's something about Warner Brothers that does not know how to manage. There is nothing in the way they make comic book movies that is deterring them from making the best ones. Where Marvel had all of the obstacles one could imagine.
Dude, they had their freaking B-listers. They didn't have the X-Men.
They had the B-listers. I'm talking about Marvel even as a whole, right? It was split up between like 4 to 5 companies.
But that's what I mean, though. Like, actual Marvel themselves, when all was said and done, they had all their B-listers. I'll put it to you this way: they took Captain America and made him like the coolest character. You know how impossible that is?
Before.
Not at all.
You're right.
And he's still not. Like the movie version of him is by far the best version of Captain America.
You're correct. So Riri, to bring you into this, the reason we bring this up, the Saverings ... was part of that comic book podcast, Evil Petting Zoo.
Okay.
And Warner Brothers owns DC Comics, and they had DC characters at Universal Studios. There wasn't a DC comic character that wasn't owned by Warner Brothers. They owned all of them. They had the rights to all of them. And even as a good stepping off point, Christopher Nolan gave them this trilogy that is world renowned as a very good films.
Two and a half. Good films.
2.5. Okay. But no one has been alley-ooped that hard in blockbuster history. I can't think of anybody that's ever been handed the keys and like there's
Star
no
Wars.
way you're gonna.
Star Wars.
Yeah, but that'd be
They-
like if George Lucas was still part of it. You know what I mean? Like they got
No,
alley-oop.
you got
Like
handed
Warner
Star
Brothers
Wars.
still has DC writers, is what I'm saying.
Mm.
You know, like Grant Morrison didn't leave when Batman Begins came out. Like they had all of the tools at their disposal, is what I mean.
So
that'd be
Disney with
like
Star
that'd
Wars.
be like Marvel. That'd be like Disney getting the Star Wars movies with George Lucas overseeing and taking care of everything.
That's not a promise of anything either, because he didn't. make all
That's
the
true.
Star
But
Wars either.
what I'm saying is they covered all the grounds. To bring this back completely around,
Okay.
sorry,
No, it's okay.
it feels like Sony is dropping the ball really
yeah.
hard somehow.
Oh yeah.
And they won the console war. They had all these cool exclusives, and they're still not landing it for some reason. And I don't understand what they're doing wrong. And it's not just the PC race, because Microsoft is not flexing their what do they call it? It's not crossplay.
Crossplay? No.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
It is crossplay, right?
Yeah,
when you
crossplay,
buy
when you have like a
one game,
console
you can
can
play
play, or
what
Yeah,
is
they
it
call it-
called when you buy an Xbox 360? No, Xbox One game that you give you a PC version.
I forgot the terminology for it.
oh yeah,
Anyway,
I don't remember what that is.
Because they're not talking about it enough. Do you realize how much
Crossplay.
of a,
No.
Crossplay is when you can play with the you can play games
you can play
with
games.
each other
That's-
across platforms.
Yeah.
that's such a killer. Sony
No, they
can't do anything like that. It's
they
not
do-
possible.
They
They
do
do
it.
say that, but they do say that, but they don't like. There is a catchphrase for it, but normally they would just say, like in their marketing, they say, "Buy it on Xbox, own it on PC." So yeah, they do say it, but they don't really use like their catchphrase.
But
all the time.
Sage, if PlayStation does do it, guess what they're playing that PC game on? They're playing it on Windows.
Yes.
So Windows
Yeah, it's
still
on the
wins.
Windows. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the crazy thing.
Wins.
So
Dose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they signed that deal a couple years ago that we talked about here on the podcast. But basically, PlayStation Network runs on Microsoft Azure now. So all your little transactions, you buy a game on PlayStation Network, Microsoft in the background gets a cut of that.
Mhm.
So they're getting a cut of everything Sony does, as well as everything that they do. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Did we finally finish on that topic?
Yeah.
I don't
that
know.
went on a big tangent, but you saw what I was doing with it. Like it's about
Yeah, I see it.
it's about the macro, because the
Mhm.
companies are this big now. The companies are freaking enormous.
Yep. And there's
Oh,
certain companies
goodness
that can
gracious.
flex.
So, at this point, I don't know if you realize this, Riri, and how much fun we're to be with. It's already an hour.
An hour and 7 minutes.
I know.
Dude,
so
I
we
was
gotta get-
into it. I was
we-
into it.
I know, but you know,
There's
we're
so
not a
much
3 hour.
passion here.
Yeah, there's not a 3 hour stream. We're mostly hour-long episodes, so we gotta wind down and get to the closing statements. With your closing statements, please give us a handle to follow you. But before we do that, big shout out again to our sponsor. Ooh, I'm coughing. Sage,
Yeah.
talk
Oh,
about
boy.
our sponsor.
Good thing you're in quarantine.
We're sponsored by Voodoo Ranger. They are part of New Belgium. They are they're an employee-owned
Be certified.
company. B certified. I don't know why I mixed B company together
You're not
and
B.
employee certified. That's
Thank
they
you
have
very
great
much.
seasonal beers. I have 2 of them from the previous 2 seasons. So right now it's the Atomic Pumpkin. Last season, so the summer one is the Mango IPA, 1985.
It's good.
And the one right before that is the Starship IPA, which is a 7.7. So it's just booze.
It'll knock you out if you're not careful.
Oh.
And you can stack them to where they have like their torso and the headline up almost.
Nice.
It's super cute. The artwork is
Fancy.
amazing. I
Yeah.
love it.
Oh, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
It's great.
They sponsor other podcasts, and
Yeah.
you see them at PAX and probably other gaming events. So they are a really awesome company that likes to sponsor geeks.
They are.
Cool.
Oh, they did the ales one time at Emerald, didn't they? Like the
beer
geeky,
garden.
Like, the beer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
they
had
did the beer garden again at PAX last year.
It sounds
And
like
they gave us Salt Tier Podcast a bunch of free beer tokens, wooden nickels.
Or just Derek, because the rest of us weren't with you.
And they gave us
Oh,
and they gave us a bunch of cool stuff to hand out at a bonus round.
yeah,
Yep,
that's right. Like they've just been so nice to us, and we really appreciate it. And with that, my closing statement is: we are officially in the fall of 2020. I didn't think we would be here, still in the pandemic.
We got 2 more months.
I know. So now, I'm trusting the maniacs and also everybody in this podcast to remind me I need to buy a headset just for this, because I thought we would be back at 2-on-2 by now, but I gotta buy another headset. So I'll buy a headset just for this. But my closing statement is: yes, this is the new normal. Sadly, I hate to say that. I didn't want to say it all summer, but this is the new normal. Be safe, exercise, get your antibodies up, go outside whenever you can.
Drink some water.
Drink water. I swear to God, exercise helps so much. Like, healthy body, healthy mind. It literally makes me a better gamer. Like, if I went on a run, if I go on a run and play Street Fighter later, I'm like, my mind is at ease. It's good. Sweat a little bit, get the toxins out of your body. And if at all possible, if you have friends that you haven't heard in a while, it's one thing to do a Zoom call and, give them all of your facial recognition data. And it's another thing to just not engage that much. Like, a chat is just you kind of stumbling around your room. Find like a really easy game to jump on Steam with them. It's like you're catching up with friends and you're doing something. I know it sounds dumb, but yeah, playing Worms Armageddon with my homies that I haven't seen in months is so heartwarming. And I get to hang out with them and then hit them with bazookas and napalm. It's so fun.
You're gonna enjoy Among Us, because then you can just murder your friends.
And plus, that game is all about being like the social butterfly and chatting it up. I think you would.
Which
like
is
that
weird.
game.
I'm the least social person ever. I never talk. Maniacs, if you're just tuning in, this is Salt Tier Podcast. This has been episode 92. And I am Loud and Brown, at Loud and Brown on Instagram and Twitter. On Steam and PS4, I am Gross Stuff with a PH. I will zigzag it to the sagest bell I know. Outro, please.
Register to vote. Make sure you vote.
Vote Biden. Let's be specific. Everybody keeps saying, make sure you vote. I'm like, when I'm saying that, I mean Biden.
Yes.
Sorry.
We're very loud about that. And I guess that is my statement. So find me on Twitch at 7 p.m. Playing horror games with Rogue Dragon TV. Usually I finish and Riri's playing, so we typically raid her. Unless I forget and then I just close my stream. And I'm like, damn it, forgot again. And you can follow me on Instagram if you want to see some pretty photos, because I've got new spooky photos. Not really spooky.
Oh my God, the Scoob. Oh, I can't wait for the Scooby photos. That's gonna be dope.
More? You're waiting for more?
Nice.
More of the Scooby-Doo photos with another fellow friend of our streams, Angelina.
Oh, Angelina. So, I mean, Sage knows this. I don't know if anybody else here knows this. I have this big crush on Linda Cardellini. And even growing up, I've always liked Velma from Scooby-Doo for some reason. And then
Wait, are you talking about the live action one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Linda Cardellini just...
Oh,
I mean,
God.
she's
Chef's kiss.
awesome.
You guys are making me feel old. I was like in my 20s when I came out.
I mean, I was right there, buddy. You know we're not that far
I know,
apart.
but still, though, like, it's just so long. I don't know.
And she also aged like fine wine. One of the best shows I saw this entire summer was season 2 of Dead to Me.
Okay.
With Christina Applegate. Such a good show.
2002 is when the first Scooby-Doo live action came out.
I was definitely already out of high school, so
Yeah.
Anyway,
I wasn't
sorry.
even in it yet.
Sage, sorry, Sage, continue.
I don't know. I guess
We were
that's on
talking about your photo
Instagram,
shoot.
SageBell_model, because I will be posting some more content that Angelina and I have done. Follow Sagebell Creations on Instagram if you want to see some of the photos I recently took of
Click.
other people, which is Megan.
Ooh.
So my friend Megan, she came in, she actually paid. So I got a paid photo shoot over the weekend and we did some sexy content. So she was a succubus.
Sexy.
Don't put it on PlayStation though.
Yeah, they censor it. What the heck?
It's fine on the Switch. Put it on the Switch, but not PlayStation.
But not on PlayStation. I heard that.
Yes.
Dumb.
If you want to use my basement studio, friends, I got good lighting and good camera.
Ooh. Come to Sagebell's
I know.
dungeon.
That sounds saucy.
Or, meet me at the lake.
That sounds creepy.
You're welcome. And
Let's
to
go to
you,
Saverings.
Saverings.
Dot.
You got the Saverings. ... Thank you very much. Loud and Brown there. Not much to report. Hit us up on the Steam page. It is Salt Tier. It's the only Salt Tier on there. Find me on Steam at the Saverings. Hopefully I'll have more actual gaming to report to you guys next week. It's been kind of a slow week for me. I'd just like to thank our guest, who I will kick it off to here next. Thank you very much, Riri, for coming on the show. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
We love you, Riri.
Yes. We're definitely got to check out your stream and stuff, especially if you mess with the Sage Bell. We're gonna have to take a look.
Oh God.
Yeah. But that's about it. See you guys next week. Riri, what you got? Plug away.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at LilyYums. I am a cosplayer and Twitch streamer. Twitch is at WiddleRiri though, so a different handle. I think my latest cosplay that I'm working on is actually from Dead by Daylight, so that's going to be my newest content on my IG.
Ooh.
You're doing your character?
For real?
Yes.
Okay.
Doing your character.
It's me.
It is. So there's you describe it. Describe your character.
What I really like to say about this character, like she's the Asian one in this game, but the cosmetic in particular from last year's Dead by Daylight fan art contest, the artist that drew it, artist submitted and won that contest. And so that's their cosmetic and I love it. It's called Demon Slayer Fang. And so she's got like this like Oni mask on the back of her head and I'm so focused on the mask right now because I just got that part done. So like I was like but yeah, the outfit's cute too. It's like this bomber jacket and then like cool pants or whatever.
Nice.
I'm really excited. I'm trying to get that done for a shoot in 2 weeks. So that's what I'm working on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You have to let us know when you do. We'll like put some stuff up on the Facebooks and stuff. We'll share it around.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, hot dang, Maniacs. We made it through 92.
1992 was a good year.
I barely remember it.
I almost peaked.
What was
I was
doing?
almost at my peak.
I
almost peaked. Like 94. 94 is when I peaked.
That was fantastic. Want to give a big thanks to WiddleRiri, for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you soon again. Another big thanks to Voodoo Ranger and Soundcasting Network for hosting us at soundcastingnetwork.com. We are on SoundCloud, Google Play, iTunes.
Oh no, you mean YouTube Music, right? Is it still Google Play?
Oh,
it's not Google Play, it's gone. It's YouTube Music now.
YouTube Music.
We're on YouTube Music now.
And we also have a YouTube channel that's also Salt Tier Podcast. Our Instagram and Twitter is salt_tier pod. Yo, Saverings, plug that Steam group again.
It's just Saltier. I think it's just Saltier. I've got it right here.
Look for a salt shaker.
Yep, it's just saltier. And yeah, just look for the red salt shaker. That's
And
us.
also, Riri, you could tell all of your friends and your followers that group is pretty fantastic because free games happen all the time. Ask Matt Stoddy. He knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotten a couple games out of us.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because
Awesome.
you know a lot of us buy humble bundles and stuff, and people just have extra games. I even got some, you know, Sage gifted me some games. Thank you, my dear.
Singular
Love you.
games.
And Russ and everything. I've got games from Russ, and
Oh yeah, I did get you some games, huh?
yeah, you did. Just Steam is a beautiful, beautiful thing. That said, I'm still the old guy that buys physical games. I lent out The Last of Us Part 2 to a friend and Final Fantasy VII Remake because I bought the discs and I share games in person.
Wow, you're actually online right now, Gross Def. What's going on? You all right?
I'm on the online.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
over 56K. This is something called a cable modem.
Yeah, you got the dial up over there. What did I gift you? I gave you Stellaris, and you still haven't even played it.
I have not played it.
It's a good. I heard it was a good game.
Oh!
Heard.
Oh,
Hey,
Well,
Keith, you want this to be a 2-hour episode? Let's have Saverings ... tell Riri about Stellaris.
Did we just become friends, Riri? Is that what's happening here?
I heard. My husband plays it. And he loves that game. Okay.
What? I think did your husband and I just become best friends?
Yeah, I think you guys became best friends.
Oh snap!
I'll let him know that he has a best friend.
For sure, yeah. Tell him to join the Steam group, and we'll get to that. Because I have been playing that game multiplayer with a buddy of mine I used to work with, and it's ridiculously fun with another person. It's a totally different game. So yeah.
Well, goodness, thank you so much for joining us. We
Yeah,
do
thanks for having
appreciate
me.
it. Tell your friends, follow us, and also definitely jump in these chats. It's one of those things that people find out when people make art or people make content. They have all these friends that view and kind of like look from afar and don't ever talk about it or engage. And then I'll bump into them in the wild and be like, hey, last week's episode was great. I'm like, of what?
You're like, wait,
And I'm
when
like,
were you
your
there?
podcast. I'm like, you listen to my podcast?
Somebody
I
does.
didn't even know you played
Yeah,
video games.
people do that.
That
for work.
happens all the time. And I know, there's a sense of anxiety or people that, don't really
Yeah.
want. But
Social anxiety.
we're just
and all
saying
that.
we don't bite. No, that's not true. We bite a lot. We're the worst.
Sometimes.
Especially if Von Shady's here, we'll throw you under the bus. So yeah, if you don't want to engage, we totally understand, I guess is what I'm saying.
Some
I want to
people
thank
like
you very
listen.
much for joining us. Thank you to Soundcasting Network. This has been a production of them. Thank you kindly. End slate.